Well, it's been an outstanding season for our first guest today. He's pitched to a 1.71 ERA in 21 innings and a 0.81 whip, as the bullpen as a whole has been outstanding this season. He is back with us here on GCR. He is Orioles pitcher Keegan Akin. Keegan, it's Glenn and Paul. It's good to chat with you, man. Thank you so much for taking a couple of minutes for us.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely, dude. It's good to chat with you again. I imagine you got to be. I know it was a difficult weekend for all of you guys in Detroit, but based on you and what you've been doing this season, I got to imagine you're probably feeling pretty good about where things are.
Yeah, it was a tough little series there in Detroit. Offense kind of slowed down a little bit, but no excuse there. We should have went in there and take one or two from them. So. But yeah, tough series. So everything's going good so far. Good group of guys. We're having fun with it and winning some series and going from there.
Keegan, you have settled into this bullpen role quite nicely so far to start the season. Can you kind of take me through? Like, I know there's got to be frustration when you're a starting pitcher and. That people assume that moving to the bullpen is, some people call it a demotion, if you will. How are you able to zero in and say, I'm going to make the most out of this opportunity and deliver the way that you have this season?
It was one of those things. As a starter, I always was kind of curious what the bullpen life was like.
Yeah.
Just because I had never really got to witness it much in my career. If I did, it was a couple outings here or there, jumping around from starting and then going back and things like that. But I'm happy where I'm at with it. It's fun, it's a good group of guys down there. We keep it loose and competitive at the same time. And when your name's called, we all know it's time to get a little serious and start locking it in for the game. But it's been a different adjustment, I guess. It's kind of the world of the unknown. You don't exactly know when you're going to pitch, so that's kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat a little bit. And I don't know, I kind of like that feeling. I guess the thrill of it. I guess you could say.
Okay.
When that phone rings, I don't know, the adrenaline rush you kind of get when your name gets called when that phone rings.
It's clearly quite different. Like you have no idea going into each day. Like, am I going to be needed today or not? Right? Like,
no.
Did you have to humble yourself at all, like in order to be able to succeed in that role? Did you have to say to yourself, like, hey, I can do? Like, did you have to have a moment where I don't know, there was a different mental approach for you as you took on that role?
Yeah, there's definitely a different mental approach. Trying to, as a starter, it's more so, I don't want to say pacing yourself, but it almost is like pacing yourself, and knowing that you're gonna have to probably face the lineup 3 times. Through.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little different there. It's a little more strategic, I guess you could say. Probably because the first 2 times you face them is going to be a little different than the third time, just because it's, at that point, I think it's a little bit more in their favor by the third and fourth at-bats. But coming in and, trying to face the lineup once, I don't want to say it's easier. It's just, I guess, a little bit different mental approach. You can just go right after these guys and try to put on their heels. Because you're only going to, more than likely face them one time unless things get a little out of hand. But it's just, I don't know, a little bit different approach. And I think as a whole in the bullpen, it's just been attack mode this year. You're seeing a lot of guys come out and go right after guys instead of trying to get pretty with it and,
right.
Make perfect pitches and things like that. So that was really the big focus for us as a whole pitching staff in general, is just attack guys. Just try to eliminate walks, try to put them on their heels, and be the aggressor in the situation.
Keegan Akin.
It's a little easier.
Yeah, go ahead, bud. I'm sorry.
It's a little easier. No, you're good. A little easier to hit, a little harder to hit, when you're 0-2, 1-2 in the count, rather than 2-1, 2-0, 3-1, those counts, things like that.
Keegan Akin is with us here on GCR. The Orioles are back home starting tonight for a 4-game set against the Yankees, and they have the Rays this weekend. And that 1992 pricing is back available. You can find out more by going to Orioles.com. Keegan, were you the superstitious type as a starter? Like, were there things that you did every game day in order to ramp up, in order to get ready? And if so, how does that change when you have no idea when it is that you might be pitching?
I'm not that superstitious. There's little things that but it's not like I have to stick to those. I know when I started, I always my thing was I always had to wear like the same pants. It was like the same outfit every time, every
Okay.
time type of thing. Um, but no, that's kind of changed a little bit as the bullpen role is picked up, and I just kind of go with it. Whatever, go with the flow type of thing is really the best mindset in the bullpen, because that's, like I said, there's gonna be days you're not pitching. Like for say if I go up to 3 innings, I'm definitely not pitching the next day. But other than that, it's very go with the flow. Just kind of gotta be ready at all times.
All right, so I've heard a lot of bullpen games over the years. You talk about like trying to stay loose and stay ready. Do you guys have any bullpen games that you've been playing this season?
So yeah, we actually do. We start off the game after starting pitcher leaves. Obviously we go through, give everybody the knucks, whatever. Good luck. And then we all take a baseball and we stand on the mound, and it's like bocce ball almost. So
Okay.
there's a ball that has all of our names on it, has the score. Our bullpen catcher Ben had decked it out and colored it and made it all pretty and stuff. But the goal is to try to land it on home plate in the
Okay.
bullpen.
Okay.
And the winner the winner of the previous day gets to go first, and then we keep tally marks on the ball of who's won the most. And then at the end of the year, it's just bragging rights. At
Okay,
that
so
point. But
there's
it's
not gonna be like a
just something to do
dinner.
every day.
There's got to be something at the end, right? Like there's somebody you got to win
Yeah,
something.
we might end up doing a dinner. I don't know. That hasn't been discussed yet. We still got a
Okay.
ways to get there. But it's every day, doesn't matter where we're at, whether it's the road or at home. Makes it a lot more challenging going and seeing all these different bullpens. Some are quicker than others. Some have actual grass in between the home plate. It's like a little game of golf. You gotta play the surface.
Right. It really does feel like you're playing Pinehurst, bro.
Exactly.
Who's the leader in the clubhouse at the moment?
I would say it's a solid group of the veteran guys. There's not really one.
Oh no, I meant
one
like for the
particular
game.
person.
I meant like who.
Oh, I think Dylan Tate went on a roll.
Okay.
Actually, to be honest with you, Tate I think won 4 or 5 in a row.
Wow.
Like a week or two ago. But I think he's got the lead right now. He's like at 6 or 7, and the next closest is like 3. So we got some work to do.
All right. Yeah, there's plenty of time, obviously. The majority of the season is still to be played at this point. Keegan Akin with us here on GCR. Keegan, do you find yourself saying, hey, look, I'm good with this role for now, but, my intent is still to be a starter at the major league level? Or do you start thinking like, hey, man, if this is going to keep me in Major League Baseball for the next 15 years, I'm going to try to be as good at this as I possibly can and not worry about whether or not I'm ever a starting pitcher?
Yeah, I would definitely say the second one. I don't. There's at this moment there's no plan on going back to the starting role. I'm having success with it. I'm liking it.
Yeah.
And at this point, whatever I can do to help this team and stay here and be competitive in that role, I'll do it. Whether it's 1 innings, 3 innings, or 7 innings, I don't really care.
Right, 100%. And by the way, obviously there could be a day where somebody taps you on the shoulder and says, "Hey, bro, we need you to go." Like we're gonna.
Yeah, exactly.
We know that you weren't when the bullpen game last week in St. Louis. We know you weren't the first one, but we also knew that you were definitely going to pitch that day. So it's just sort of the way that it goes. Keegan, you've been a little bit ahead of him throughout your time in the system. Do you have much of a relationship with Adley at all? And like, how excited? I know we don't know what day it's going to be, but we know it's going to be pretty soon. How excited are you about the opportunity to work with him again here?
I think a lot of guys are excited, to see that next wave in general.
Yeah.
Come up to the big leagues. There's been a good bit of hype around those guys. They're all very good players, and I think that at some point you're going to see a lot of those guys contribute to the big league team this year. It's just like you said, just a matter of when. When they get called upon, or when the need is there for the pitchers in that aspect. So it's very exciting. At the same time, I'm excited for all those guys: Adley, Grayson, DL. You could keep going down the list, but it's just I don't know. I remember being in that spot and basically itching to get to the big leagues.
Sure.
And it's just it's exciting, and obviously we've all came up together for the most part. I think everybody's homegrown as they would say. So it's definitely, cool to kind of see that aspect of it. A lot of times you get, after usually about Double A, you get a lot of guys that were with other organizations previously and things like that. So to kind of have all those guys as a core group and come up together is it's exciting.
The stretch that you guys were on, obviously, again, we know the weekend was tough, but the stretch that you guys were on before that, did you guys start talking at all about, like, hey man, whatever people think of us, we know we are capable of being far better than that. And do you feel like maybe there is still a team that can prove a lot of people wrong as this season goes on?
Yeah, I definitely think that's a possibility. Um, I even think to this point we've kind of underachieved a little bit, and I think everybody feels that way. We've let a few games slip away from us that I think we could have easily won, with just maybe a little bit better pitching, maybe a little better fielding, just things like that. I mean, we've been in most of the games. I mean, we haven't really been out of any of them, I guess you could say. Maybe one or two, but other than that, it's been, I feel like it's been some pretty close ball games. And yeah, I think that's kind of, everybody feels that way, is just go out there and try to prove people wrong. The expectation from everybody else is at the bottom of the totem pole at this point. So it's it's a good position to go out there and try to prove some people wrong.
And the important one, the hitters, they got the home run chain. Like, you guys thinking about maybe getting like a championship belt or so? I feel like there's got to be something for the pitchers, right? Like somebody who delivers, who gets a big strikeout with the bases loaded or something like that in order to have a little swag. There's got to be like a pitching answer to the home run chain that's got to come, right?
I don't know. That was kind of their thing. Honestly, I think most of the pitchers didn't even know about it until after a couple days.
That's pretty funny.
We saw it laying around. We were like, "What in the heck's this thing?" And yeah, I don't know. Maybe that will be discussed for the pitcher's side. But yeah, definitely that was kind of exciting how that came about. And,
Yeah,
it kind of took off a little bit.
it's been cool. There's no doubt about that. All right, Keegan Akin. Remind me. I know you're not on Twitter, correct? But you are on Instagram.
No. Yes, I haven't really used it lately. It's just during season, busy.
I mean, I
But
get
yes,
it. I get
I
you
do
got
have an Instagram.
you got some sort of baseball thing going on. I can understand that. I believe it's
Yeah.
just Keegan Akin if you do want to follow him on Instagram.
Yep, I think so.
Keegan, appreciate taking the time, man. It's been awesome to see your success in this role, man. It's may it continue forever. May you never see an ERA that starts with 2 again in your life. May that be the case. Thank you for taking the time for us this morning, dude, and look forward to seeing you guys back out at the yard tonight. All right.
Yep, no problem. I appreciate you guys having me.